Precious Metal Summit 2022 in Zurich, Commodity TV here for you. And we want to talk now for the first time to Nova Minerals. And Christopher Gerteisen, the CEO, is here with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be with you, Jochen.
Yeah, great to have you here. Thanks for taking the time. I've just been in your presentation a little bit and I saw we are just getting started. But you have 9.6 million ounces gold already. Where do you want to grow that?
This is the Estelle Gold Project. Yeah. So the Estelle Gold Project is located on the Estelle Gold Trend. And this is an important point to note because it's not just one mine, it's a district, very large scale district. And that's why we say we're only getting started, truly. In 3 short years, we've gone from 2.5 million ounces to 9.6 million ounces. And those ounces, that was the resource update we did last year. So since that time, we've drilled another 30,000 meters.
Wow.
So the next resource update, we expect to exceed 10 million ounces, right? And so importantly, not only have we increased the resource, but we're proving it up. So in this next resource update, a significant portion, more of it will move into indicated and also, we believe, measured resources, so higher confidence resources, which is always important.
Beautiful. And when do you think you will publish that new update?
It all depends on assay results. Assay results. These assay labs have just been painful all around. And so I would expect, I'm hoping by Christmas, but certainly by January, I would expect the next resource update.
But that's within the next, let's say, 8 to 10 weeks.
Correct. Yes.
Super.
I believe so.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So I saw also you have a big bulk tonnage with 0.3 grams gold per ton, and you have also a higher grade with 2 grams gold per ton. So what is, let's say, the major difference inside the project? I mean, are those then like 2 projects in itself, or how does it work?
They are, truly. So they're about 20 miles apart each. And so RPM, this is the very high grade deposit. This is really the jewel in the crown for the project. At RPM, we have spectacular grades for the record books. So to name a few intercepts, 132 meters at 10.1 grams per ton, within a larger intercept of 400 meters at 3.5 grams per ton. Jochen, I could go on and on. And these have been consistent, and that whole bonanza zone is holding together. So that's very high grade. The last resource update, 1.5 million ounces at an average grade of 2 grams per ton. Now, so that's RPM. The bulk tonnage resource is our Corbel deposit. At Corbel, there's almost 1 billion tons there. Almost 1 billion tons. You can see why we call it bulk tonnage. So there, there's decades of mine life there alone. And to understand that deposit, we have a high grade core there running. We get typically 50 to 100 gram per ton. 50 to 100 meter intercepts at 1 to 1.5 grams per ton in the high grade core, and that'll be direct mill feed. And then there's a huge halo of this lower grade material, 0.3 to 0.8 grams per ton. Why do we include that in our resource? Because we can make money at it. We can make a lot of money at it utilizing ore sorting. Our ore sorting test work has shown that it ore sorts exceptionally well, and we can take 0.3, 0.4 gram material and upgrade it up to 6 grams per ton.
Wow.
Yes, that's right. It's the nature of the mineralization.
That's pretty cool.
Very discrete, very distinct veins. When we selectively sample these veins, they're running ounces per ton. And so the challenge is how do you separate that high-grade material out, enter ore sorting?
Okay, wow. So that sounds to me like you already have a plan that you want to bring that into production. Yeah, it looks to me like. So are you working already towards pre-feasibility study or something like that?
Right. So we've already started our scoping study, PEA, and we've completed the first phase of that. And the first phase of that was just looking at Corbel alone. And also to prove our flow sheet, because we've done extensive metallurgical test work and the ore sorting and this and that. And so the phase 1 was just looking at Corbel alone. Very positive study, but that does not present the entire picture for Estelle. Of course, now that we've proved up RPM, the phase 2 of the scoping study now will be coming out very short after these resource updates. We expect to release the phase 2 scoping study by March next year is my goal. And now RPM will be included, and it's just going to blow the numbers off the charts. All those key metrics you're after, NPV, payback period, it's going to be very, very, very nice. And so I would expect that people would want to see a PFS very soon after that, And so all that PFS next level test work and studies, environmental, metallurgical, all these things is happening as we speak in the background. And so we expect the PFS to be released shortly after the phase 2 scoping study, and I would expect that early 2024 for PFS.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Pretty fast, I would say. Fantastic.
We're very ambitious. We're very ambitious, and
I believe that.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I could imagine you must not go now from, let's say, 10 million ounces to 15 million ounces. I mean, you have anyhow that many already. Now, I think it's more on the quality of the ounces, yeah, that you are defining that more narrow spacing probably in the drilling also. When do you think you can publish the first reserve?
The first reserve at PFS. At PFS, I
level.
would expect. And that's right. A lot of the drilling we've done this year, that additional 30,000 meters, has been infill drilling. And so that's why, it's not just expanding the resource, which I expect we will do. It's proving those up to indicated. And as I said, the close space drilling at RPM, on that basis alone, of course, there's more involved. But if you just look at it on that basis, I believe we'll get some measured at RPM in our highest grade resource, this next resource update.
Okay, super. How does the infrastructure look like with your project regarding water, power, roads, etc.? I mean, because it looks to me like a monster big mine.
It is many mines, monster big project. So infrastructure-wise, in year-round, we have a 4,000-foot plus airstrip there that we support the project. We can bring in very large aircraft like the DC-3 and these kind of things. In the wintertime, when we're coming into that season now, we utilize a winter road. Very common in that part of the world. Winter roads, there's television shows about it. Winter road. So that's how we access the project. But we're getting very excited now about the West Susitna Access Road project. This is the state project, state funded now, been funded by the state, $8.5 million to go through the environmental permitting process, gaining major momentum, gaining steam in Alaska, widespread support, not only from the state government, but from the local borough, Matsu borough there where we are, also the community. We haven't built a new road in Alaska in 40 years. And so lots of support, and it's not just us. We're at one end of the road, and that road will tie us into Port Mackenzie, the deep water port for Anchorage, and into the road system, into the rail system.
Wow.
But that whole economic corridor, we're only one of many beneficiaries. What's possible and what the state and the local governments are looking for to develop along that corridor, it's exciting times ahead. So we believe, potentially that we could do what we have to do just using snow road and the airstrip, but that would be a huge bonus to have the West Susitna Access Road.
Yeah, so that would mean that you are fully connected then with that
Correct.
road.
Yes.
Super. And how does it look like with power?
Power, many options there. So we have, of course, the proposed gas pipeline going over to the Donlin Creek deposit project that's just to the west of us. This is the Nova Gold Barrick project. So that would pass about 10 to 15 miles to the north of us. That's an option for an offtake there. Also, there's geothermal resources to the south. We've looked at wind power, and then we're working with Agrico. This is an important point to make. Agrico is one of the premier power solutions consulting firms in the world, and they're advising us, and we'll choose what fits best our timeline and our needs, of course. So lots of options.
What is cash in the bank? Because sounds to me like the next 2 years are really big until the pre-feasibility study. That all costs money, of course. So are you financed for that?
So currently we have approximately, at the end of last quarter, 10 million in the bank. At the end of last quarter, we've stopped drilling now, and the main reason for that, even though we're a year-round operation and we can keep going, is again the assay results. I have so many drill holes and assay results outstanding. We really need to regroup, get all these results back, interpret, and start planning for next year's drilling program. And so our burn rate right now, with the drilling having ceased for the time being for the next couple of months, is very low. A few $100,000 a month, but. And how do we fund next year's big plans? Well, we have a number of options. Don't forget, Nova Minerals has a number of strategic investments in its portfolio, being Snow Lake lithium resources. We still control 37% of that, very liquid. Azra Minerals. Minerals is another gold junior in Australia with also a heavy rare earth find. So those are very liquid assets. We can tap into those. We've already done that. We did a block trade on Snow Lake to fund this year's program, $18 million there. So we have lots of options, and we'll get to that. We'll make that decision when the time comes.
Fantastic. Who are your largest shareholders? What is management share?
Management holds a large stake, so 12.5%. We've always committed. We've always committed to all the capital raisings going forward. And so we have skin in the game. Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but any institutions?
No large institutions, some smaller hedge funds and things in Australia. Yandel Investments, this is Mark Creasy, is involved. But, we're in this next stage. A lot of institutions are starting to approach us. And so I think as we move forward, you'll start to see the bigger boys come on board.
Okay.
Potentially.
Super. Perfect. Thank you very much for the insight into your terrific company. Sounds really interesting. I have to do some more due diligence on you guys. And yeah, wish you well for next year. And please show us more and good results.
Will do. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Christopher Gerteisen, the CEO of Nova Minerals. You heard it, a really, really big monster project up here in Alaska. $10 million in the bank, but a lot of securities which they can use to fund next 2 years programs. And yeah, hopefully in 2024 already the pre-feasibility study. And that's exactly what this world needs. And don't forget, the state is building also a road, and they will be fully connected. And I must say, very impressed by the project, impressed by the company. Check it out. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich from Precious Metal Summit.